Well, kids, gather round. I got a story to tell you. It's got to do with a cat and a pigeon. Once upon a time, there was this pigeon. Well, he was kind of crazy. He lived in the city. And you know, he spent his days just following these little old ladies around the park. I mean, they brought it on themselves, but he did have a few restraining orders that he was not observing. I mean, this ain't no Mary Poppins, buddy. I mean, these little ladies, they out here to feed your people. No, they don't want to bring you home. Needless to say, in this city he lived in, he got himself in trouble with a small gang of old ladies. And those ladies had cats. I know y'all thinking old ladies can't be that dangerous, but these women, they were like the mafia of kitty litter and catnip. So one day when that pigeon got too close and did a little bit too much pooping on this one lady's new hat she got at the Dillards, which could not have been cheap. That little old lady mafia brought in their herd of cats, which cannot have been a small herd either. Let me tell you, that's a lot of cats. That pigeon did not stand a chance. I mean, he didn't even see what was coming. It was like a dark tsunami of fur and claws. He just standing there minding his own business, pooping, carrying disease. You know what pigeons do when he looks over and...
Oh no. Oh no.
Next thing you knew, that pigeon was fighting for his life. And let me tell you, it was real fun to watch. I mean, those bystanders had a good time. And here's a little something you need to know about pigeons, is they ain't family. They all look like, but they ain't got nobody's back. You going down on your own. These ain't no noble birds like an eagle or like a falcon. Those guys are independent anyway. But pigeons, no, they hate each other. I mean, you ever seen how pigeons all kind of flock together? Well, I mean, as soon as bad things happen, they all scurry. And the one who gets eaten, I mean, he's just left. I mean, the rest of them are like, bye. I mean, you can imagine the scene, like thousands of cats and just a flock of pigeons swirling around overhead. It was Armageddon. I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know how I got out of there with all my appendages and my eyes, my hair. I mean, I still have PTSD about it. I mean, it's a lot of birds. I mean, birds is of the devil, and cats just they are awful too. Okay, but just go with me for a minute here. I mean, I want you to picture like a sea of cats, and then above head, there's like a tornado of pigeons just like pooping and freaking. And then you got this little old pigeon just sitting in the middle of that, who's just catching the wave as those cats carried him to his grave. It was bad news bears. And if you can just imagine the sound, you got all that above head of the birds and all that on the foot of the cats. I mean... Suddenly, this crazy thing happened where it was like the cats were kind of like, I mean, they like overtook him. He was gone. It was like in movies when like you just see like those big waves or avalanches like hitting things, and it's decimated. They ain't got no chance. They gone. And I'm standing here going, I mean, that's one less winged rat to carry disease and desolation around. But then the unbelievable happened. In the center of what had become kind of a whirlpool of death of cats just swirling around this pigeon. Suddenly in the middle of this whirlpool of fur, there was like, I mean, it was like a volcano. This pigeon starts burrowing up out of the middle of it. And out of nowhere, this pigeon just erupts out of this death pit with a cat on his leg. I mean, that bird was jacked up. I mean, he was like molten, if you can even call it that at that point. But there was this cat dangling, like, by the teeth on his foot. And the pigeon starts just flying. He's, like, climbing higher and higher. I mean, it's sad. He's real tired and worn out, but he's flying for his life. And he's going higher and higher, and the cat's still hanging on. And then it was like this pigeon suddenly became, like, some kind of show pilot. I mean, he was flying around in circles and spiraling around. And he was trying to shake that cat right off his leg. And when the cat finally came loose, it was like a cry that was heard around the world from that pigeon, my friends. That cat done his job. That pigeon ain't no coming around those old ladies no more. Yeah, I'm telling you what. When I saw that cat running down the street, going back into that little old lady's like little pet bag, I saw that bird's foot in his mouth. He got that foot off him. And that cat he looked real pleased with himself. And I mean, the lady gave him all kinds of loving and pats and like, good job, kitty boy. And I tell you, I seen that pigeon around with his one leg just kind of stumping around as he picks at the cigarette butts on the street. That guy ain't got no comrades. All his pigeon buddies have abandoned him. He is an outcast. But he making it work. Because sad as it is to lose one of your legs, none of the other pigeons go around the trash he trying to eat because they afraid the cat's coming back any minute now. And I mean, really, this whole story is quite moving for me. I mean, I watched this bird fight for his life, and I mean, he's seen some stuff, but he has come through it stronger. I mean, I do still think pigeons is nasty, but I did feel a little bit of remorse for that little guy. No, I didn't. He was sick.